here we have 4 Deaf Bonce Apocalypse AAK 20,000.1s. I've seen clamp numbers of about 25K at 15.9 volts, so they're beasts. We have 2 subs per amplifier. Each amp is wired at 1 ohm because we're dual 1 subs in series parallel configuration. Got a bit of a mess of RCAs. I'm going to go with the correct length RCAs, but I've just got it on here this way for now for testing. Back here we have 2 7800s Deaf Bonce. Also, the whole truck is Deaf Bonce basically, but those are going to be for the 6.5 inch mid ranges in the truck to power them. And then we'll have a couple more 4 channels for tweeters and horns that are not here yet. Here we have a big, I believe it's 330 amp hour C-Max battery, wired 5 in series, and makes 18 volts. So our goal is to charge about 18.2 or so and really get some juice out of these amplifiers. Up here we have our C-Max 90 amp hour, which is good for about 15 volts, 15 to 15 and a half. It's only 4 in series. So that's mounted inverted upside down to the roof. So I wanted to do something different in this, and I thought it was pretty cool. I made a plexiglass custom mount for it to ensure that it's not coming down. All the wiring is EVFlex 2.0 welding wire, OFC. I really took my time on the runs to make sure everything is going good. Back here is not completely finished yet, so don't mind the bit of mess of wires here and there, but yeah, that's the fuse block for the 15 volt battery. So that'll control the truck itself and the mids and highs amps. The big bank is strictly dedicated for the bass amps. And if you look to your left down here, we have a not mounted yet Fat Boy regulator that is set up for dual alternator system. Basically, the right side will charge the 18 volt battery and the left side will charge the smaller battery. One alt will be dedicated to the small battery, and then the big battery will get 3 390s. So it'll be 4 390s in total. Also, we have here our ground zero processor that will control everything. It will all be digital signal processed, so basically come from the radio in through a knob for the mids and highs and a knob for the subs. And then it'll all be processed through here and then sent out to the amplifiers. Also, we have back here in the rear doors, Jose Estrada at All Eyes on Me Sound Creations helped me, I helped him build these. He did all the paintwork and everything like that. He really did a good job knocking it out of the park. The other barn door we have, it's sitting in the shop for now because I've got to get the door pins in the back replaced. Yeah, you can get an idea. They'll all be top 3 6.5s. We have tweeter. These 4 will be horns. Of course, 2 more tweeters and then 6 more 6.5s. So I believe in total the truck has 94 speakers or 95, something like that. So it's a lot of speakers altogether. Move on to the side of the truck. Moving on to the side of the truck here. Get my wires out of the way. Okay.
That's fine.
Well, anyway, we'll have 8 6.5s and 4 tweeters in the rear door. Those are all painted as well. And also we'll have the seal off panel here is nice and decorative, all painted and everything. Jose again did a great job on that. My wires are just tied up because I haven't got it complete yet, but in the front door we also have 8 6.5 inch mids, 2 horns, 4 tweeters. This door is mostly stock for now, however it will be reinforced with steel plate before we complete it. Moving on to the interior, we have fully custom dash. We ditched the old one in order to make a complete firewall made out of steel. That's something that Jimmy from Plasma Creations helped out with a ton. He's got a badass shop over there. You guys can check him out down here in South Florida. Did the A-pillars and roof panel. That was also Jose Estrada. Full custom dash. Floor will be repainted to black bed liner. For now it's pink. But the owner decided it was too much pink, which we agree, so we're gonna go ahead and change it to black. Back here we have the 8 Deaf Bonce Db4 15s. I believe they're rated at 3,500 watts RMS, 7,000 watts peak. We're running a little bit more than that to try and you know, push the limits here, but full steel floor, full steel roof, full steel everything really. The whole box is all steel cage. We use 1.5 by 2.5 by 3/16 steel tubing for the cage, and it's really, really incredibly strong. And then I filled all the squares with multiple layers of wood. Then I went in with a final layer on the inside of the box for the shell. And here we have the window controls, of course. The steering wheel is raggedy for now. Obviously the airbag's gone, but it will become a subwoofer. Front end, digital dash. So that tells us, you know, everything we need to know: speed, RPM, temperatures, all that jazz. Passenger door is a mirror of the driver's door. However, that one is all reinforced. It's got steel plate behind the speakers. The window has been removed, and we custom fabricated a mount for a 3/4 inch plexiglass window. Forgive us, it's really dirty now. We haven't really cleaned up the truck yet, but those are all bolted in with 1/4 hardware. So yeah, it's all nice and reinforced. Got to get some weather stripping around there so it makes a good seal. But yeah, a couple of bolts came out. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna have to use some lock washers or Loctite, because when they were playing it, vibration vibrated them out. So a couple little bugs. Of course, we still got some work to do to it, but we'll get it all worked out before we send it back to them. And under the hood, we have a super dirty quad alternator setup. Right now, these are DC Power 270s. They will be upgraded to Brand X 390s.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yep, and then we have 4 fans, one side and down here, but these are all thermostat controls that come on at 175 to keep the alternators cool. I need to get a new temperature sensor, but one basically will get mounted right there on the alternator to sense the temperature, keep those things cool, because they're going to be feeding that big bank and the little bank, so they're going to be really catching the heat. If you look up closer to the windshield, we have poured 16-pound 2-part foam, completely filled it, super duper strong, doesn't move. So we're really happy with that. Thankfully, we were having huge windshield problems last time with the previous build, so now this had taken care of most of the flex down the bottom, and then the steel roof took care of the flex up top. And then if you'll let me close the hood, I have 3/4 inch custom built, custom molded windshield. My buddy at the local airport helped me build this one. At first we tried to glue it in, did not suffice, so had the metal guy build in a border all the way around, about 2 inches in from the stock border, so that way we can go ahead and get some real hardware in there and bolt it through. So we use all grade A hardware, lock nuts, super strong. Thankfully, yesterday during the testing, we turned it on and it wasn't moving, so.
What happened there?
That's a wonderful thing. Yeah, unfortunately, it, when I put it in, it didn't break. I didn't torque it down too much or anything like that. Apparently I had just one of the bolts just tight enough to where when I had it under the tent here, it was fine. And then one day I brought it to lunch. No, I didn't bring it to lunch. I pulled it out outside, went to lunch. It was sitting in the sun. And then I came back and it had broken. If you look closely, you can see it's actually broken all the way to here. And then I believe it goes back into one piece. So I was really worried that when we turned that on, it was gonna get worse, but it hasn't moved yet. So we'll know more when we get more playtime on it, but for now it's only about 25 or 30 minutes of playtime. But it hasn't gone more, so hopefully we'll be able to keep it the way it is. That was a lot of work and an expensive piece of glass. That's about where we're at with it. It's gonna go to paint after we're done with it and get wheels and tires set up and everything like that. And I mean, it needs help on the outside because, you know, we just straight up had to weld the door and everything like that. But, you know, don't worry about the outside too much now. It'll all look very, very pretty when it gets out to the shows. So stay tuned for more. I guess that's about what I got to say about it for now. Got a couple of bugs to work out, but we'll get it all figured out and then look forward at the big shows such as TDH, Slamology, you know, all the big shows. Maybe even make it over to the West Coast of the United States and get some actions. You know, hopefully the goal for this thing will be, you know, high 160s, maybe 170 dB. So it should be a tap out machine. Based on what we were playing the other day, it seemed like anywhere from 45 to 55 hertz. So it should be pretty brutal when I actually am able to play into it. That's where we're at for now. Lashara helped out a ton, and my brother did too, Corey. Shout out to him. So thanks for everybody that turned wrenches on this thing and helped us get it where it is.